I would like to do is spend a little time teaching everyone who decided to come out today to spend the time, and it's truly appreciated. And usually I do my opening by saying Namaste, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, and Kem Cho to everyone. And for taking the time out to be here, it's truly appreciated. And so, what we hope to do is to add some value for you. And the most important thing that we see of value is for everyone to understand about US immigration law that there's no one particular way to do things. Because we always get questions from our clients or prospective clients or individuals that we connect with, is this the way to do it? And it's most important for you to understand that what we present and what you should be thinking about is what options are best for me. So you might have multiple options that are available to you, and you should think about them as options and not to say, oh, I have to do it this way, or oh, I have to do it that way. Okay? So we're presenting options to you. So in light of options, this slide is a picture of the U.S. immigration law system. We say it in a nutshell. It means that this is the U.S. immigration law system, and I'm going to spend about 5 to 8 minutes explaining to you how the U.S. immigration law system works, and you're going to come away with an understanding of how the system works, even knowing more than U.S. politicians know, because they don't even know this. Okay, so you're going to be uniquely equipped to understand a system, because this is the way the system is designed. It's a spectrum of analysis, and this is the way an immigration lawyer thinks. It's not the way the consultants on the ground in India think. The consultants in India, they want to put you into a certain way of doing things. And what we hope to do is to broaden the horizons so you can think about what options are available to you. And that's what today is about. Okay, so we start with the column, and basically the US immigration law system is a spectrum. It runs from the left-hand side of this chart to the right-hand side. Okay, so we go through various categories. On the far left-hand side are individuals who are out of status. That means that they are in the United States and they don't have any status. So who are these individuals? Well, you're probably reading about the ones that are coming from the southern border and they're coming illegally into the United States. Those are people who don't have status. And you would think that those people don't have options, but they do. And so there are also people who have come to the United States with status, but for some reason, whether it be because they wanted to or not, they've lost their status, and that happens. So you may have heard about an individual who maybe came as a student or came as a visitor, and they overstayed, and they didn't do it because they wanted to. Sometimes they didn't know the rules, and they just became out of status. So you would think that for these people there are no options, but that's not in fact the case. There are options for them. And so you can see some of those options listed on this chart here. The first one is DACA, that's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Those were individuals that President Obama decided under his administration that because they've been in the United States and didn't know anything about their home countries, that they would give them work authorization and allow them to stay in the U.S. And then there are other types of programs that are listed here. Marriage to a U.S. citizen, marriage to possibly a green card holder. These are all ways in which you can get status in the United States if you didn't have status. The U visa, we do a lot of U visas for individuals in the Indian community in the U.S. Those are individuals who are victims of certain crimes. And so there's a list of crimes that are online, and that allows an individual who's in the United States who doesn't have status to apply and get status in the United States without having to leave. So again, what I'm saying is that if you don't have status and you're in the US, it's not that you can't get it. You just have to share with us as immigration lawyers what the situation is that confronts you, your family background, your educational background, your hobbies, all the information. And then what we can do is we can try to devise a strategy to enable you to stay. Now, moving along the spectrum are what are called non-immigrants. And most of you are familiar with non-immigrants because non-immigrants are individuals, for example, who have B1s or B2s. Those are individuals who are coming to the United States to they're either business visitors, so they're they're in the United States on behalf of their business abroad, or they might be a visitor for pleasure if you go to see a family member in the United States. So those are non-immigrants. Now, why do they call them non-immigrants? They call them non-immigrants because you have to have what's called non-immigrant intent. That means that you cannot intend to be immigrating to the United States. And there are two different types of non-immigrant visas. One type of non-immigrant visa is called pure non-immigrant intent. That means that you have to show to the consulate when you go for your visa stamping, and probably many of you know this, that you do not intend to stay in the US. So how do you prove that? Well, it's more about showing what pulls you back home as opposed to what pulls you there. So multiple times we get calls from individuals who say, well, what should I write in my invitation letter? And we'll say, no, don't do an invitation letter. The invitation letter could potentially hurt you because it's giving more about what's going on that side as opposed to what pulls you back here. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind. Now, on the non-immigrant visa front, you have that pure non-immigrant visa, like a B visa or an F visa, but then there are also these very strong dual intent visas. Dual intent is like the H-1B. You can intend to leave the United States and intend to come to the United States simultaneously. And so what we as immigration lawyers do is we want to try to get our clients into a dual intent classification because those are long-term work permits, and that allows us to have the time that we need to be able to get you to the next column, which is lawful permanent residence or green card. And so what we do is we sometimes have to move you back and forth between different non-immigrant visa classifications. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll have an individual who's, let's say, a student, and then what they'll do is they'll go into OPT, hopefully it's a STEM OPT, and they'll get an additional 2 years. And then what we're doing is we're trying the H-1B lottery each year for them until they get that H-1B. And that gives us the time that we need to be able to move them to the green card. And oftentimes, they have family members who are on the other side, and so they can also do a family petition. So what we'll do is we'll try to figure out, should we do a family petition? Should we do a business petition? Because which one is going to be faster? So that's part of the analysis, is which one's going to go faster. Because I don't think I've ever encountered a client who hasn't said, oh yeah, the immigration system, you could take your time. Everyone wants everything fast. Everything has to be done yesterday. So our job is to try to find the fastest ways. And my colleagues, Snehal and Girish, are going to talk about the fastest ways to get the green card. Okay, that's up next for you. Finally, after being a green card holder for 5 years or 3 years if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can apply for citizenship. Sometimes individuals want to become citizens, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just want to have the green card and stay with the green card. But the thing is that if you become a citizen, then of course you would not be able to hold on to your passport from India, and then you have to get the OCI card. So that is the spectrum of analysis, and I think I did that under 10 minutes. That is the immigration law system in a nutshell, and that's how our thinking is affected by what we do, okay? So